Come on in, honey. The lantern's lit, the veil's a little thin, and the wind's been dying to carry a few secrets your way. Welcome to Raven's Ramblings, where the shadows walk beside us and the past never stays buried, and a good spell can speak louder than a sermon. I'm Raven Nightingale, part healer, part hellraiser, keeper of the old ways and ghost stories alike. So pull up a chair and listen close. You never know what might be whispering in the dark. So, my friends, my fellow witches, welcome back to Raven's Ramblings. Um, so, this episode is not light and sparkly. It is not about crystal grids or moon water. It's about a moment that a witch realizes I cannot stay here anymore. We're talking about boundaries, but not the polite kind. We're talking about walking away from toxicity and being okay with that. All right. So there's this idea that if you are spiritual enough or grounded enough or even healed enough, you should be able to fix things, to cleanse it or communicate it or love it better. And I am guilty of that. I used to believe that. If something felt off, I would try harder or try to explain more or be softer or clearer or smaller or quieter. Because maybe if I just found the right words or the right tone or the right compromise, it would stop hurting. Yeah. But here's the truth that no one really tells you. Not every fire is meant to warm you. Some are meant to teach you when to leave. Okay. Now, let's talk about the difference between conflict and toxicity. So, conflict is a friction, two humans kind of irritating the hell out of each other and rubbing against each other's edges. There's misunderstandings or bad days. These are all like repairable things. Okay. These are things that can be talked out and worked on and move past. Okay. Toxicity is erosion. When over time you feel yourself shrinking, you rehearse conversations in your head to try to make them better. You monitor your tone constantly. You stop bringing things up because it never goes well. Like it never goes well when I try to talk this out. And you feel like your needs are an inconvenience to the other person. So eventually you start asking yourself things like, why am I so sensitive? But what you should really be asking is, why do I feel unsafe being fully myself? Yeah, that's different. That is sacred information. And as witches, we understand protection, right? We cleanse our homes, we ward our doors, we cast our circles. But here's part of the things we don't talk about enough. Some spaces cannot be cleansed because the toxicity it's not residual. It is the structure of the relationship. Okay. And you cannot use enough sage or moon water or whatever or enough crystals in a and make that type of toxic structure into a safe structure. Okay. You cannot love someone into emotional accountability. That is on them, period. You cannot self sacrifice your way into mutual respect. All right? That is one of that is on them. That is not on you. All right? And walking away from that type of toxicity is not weakness. Okay. It is truly an advanced spell work. Okay. And that's okay because we know that walking away from toxicity, there is a grief that is going to come with walking away from that. Okay. Even if it was unhealthy, even if it hurt, even if you were slowly disappearing inside of that. Because walking away doesn't mean you didn't love that person or that situation. It just means that you chose yourself. All right? Think about that. It just means that you chose yourself. And there is a grief with that because a lot of us are very service oriented. Okay. We are more likely to do for others before we do for ourselves. We will do without to be able to do for others. So it feels very selfish to choose ourselves. Okay. And that can make it feel like that whole situation is a betrayal, especially if you were taught that love meant endurance, right? Some of us were trained to believe that staying, no matter how toxic, proves loyalty. But staying while your spirit erodes is not loyalty. It is self abandonment. And witches, we are not meant to abandon ourselves. All right. So let's talk about what walking away actually looks like more energetically. All right. It is not always dramatic. Now, and that's on our side of it. On the other person's side or the other part of the situation side, there can be some drama, and that's on them. Our side is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is very quiet because you have stopped explaining yourself, you have stopped defending your emotions, you have stopped chasing a repair that you finally realize is never going to come. You have stopped volunteering to be misunderstood. You have put a boundary down. Okay. That is a banishment. That's why this is spell work. This boundary is making a banishment happen. You are removing your energy from a system that feeds on it. That toxicity feeds on your energy, and you are going to remove that. And that is very powerful and that is sacred. Okay. So if you want to ritualize this process, you can do several things. You can write down what that dynamic has cost you. Be honest. If it has cost you your peace or your confidence or your softness or your voice, write those things down. And then write down what you are reclaiming by leaving that situation. You're going to reclaim things like your time, your boundaries, your nervous system, your joy. And then just light a candle and say, I release what diminishes me and I call back what strengthens me. Simple, right? Yeah. Now, you don't have to hate someone to leave them or to walk away. You don't have to villainize someone to outgrow them. That's very important. Their path may just be so far off of your path that you're just going in two different directions, and that's okay. Sometimes you just have to say, this burns me more than it warms me, and you step away. hmm And there's something else that I kind of want to name. After you leave that toxicity, or after that toxicity bounces against that boundary, that barrier, that banishment, and they walk away, there's often a quiet. And that quiet can feel strange because you have gotten so used to the chaos. You've gotten so used to the tension. You got used to earning those small moments of peace. You know, it was just constant. So when things actually calm down, your nervous system may whisper, "Ooh, this feels unfamiliar." Okay. Now, some of us with anxiety will be like, "Ooh, this is unfamiliar. I should probably panic because unfamiliar is not safe." But unfamiliar in this way is not unsafe. It might just be healthy. So give yourself a little bit of time to adjust to not fighting for oxygen. Yeah. The witch archetypes is they're often painted as someone who is exiled. I think there's a different version. The witch who chooses exile. The witch who says, "I will not beg to belong where I am diminished." That's not bitterness. That is sovereignty. And sovereignty looks sometimes like walking away with tears in your eyes, but clarity in your bones. So if you are in a season of questioning, if something in your life feels like it's slowly extinguishing your fire, pay attention. Listen to your body. Your body knows. Your magic knows. You are not dramatic for wanting respect. You are not difficult for wanting. I lost my train of thought. You are not difficult for wanting a reciprocal relationship. You are not selfish for protecting your peace. Period. A witch does not stay where her spirit is being slowly consumed. She gathers her tools, she closes her circle, and she walks toward a space where her flame can breathe. And that is not weakness, that is power. So thank you for sitting with me in this one. This was a tough one. Yeah, this one was personal and tough. If this resonates, you are not alone. Not at all. If you are in the middle of walking away from something that once mattered, be gentle with yourself. Endings are spells too. So until next time, guard your circle, trust your instincts, and never, ever stay where your magic is unwelcome. Bye.